Welcome back to the channel, and today in my ongoing quest to make some videos about the films that are more positive than my usual thing, I thought today I would go over what I think are the most stand-out deaths from each movie. And for a bit of extra flair, I've given each of them an award. So let's get to feeding our hungry monsters. I've given this death the Legendary Death Award because it is that one character death that so many people seem to know about with that oh so quotable ending.
Clever girl.
Muldoon's death in Jurassic Park is one of the few deaths we see on screen. Here we have a tense standoff between hunter and hunted. The trick here, however, is who is hunting who. The build up to this scene starts all the way back at the beginning of the film, with Alan Grant explaining the raptor attack in detail to a child, explaining the raptor's intelligence and how dangerous it is. We later hear how Muldoon considers the raptors so dangerous that they should be destroyed, and that they have been checking the fences with significant signs of intelligence. This all builds up to this scene, where Muldoon realizes he and Ellie are being hunted. Muldoon, gently clambering through the forest, gets within firing range of the raptor he sees. He agonizingly takes his time, slowly deploying his gun stock, doing his best to stay quiet as he gets ready to take his shot, only for another raptor to emerge from the trees next to him, resulting in his legendary dying line of "clever girl," just like Alan Grant said would happen. A perfect coup de grace for a beloved Jurassic Park character. The Lost World features some of the best dinosaur scenes in the whole franchise, as well as some of the best horror moments. But for me, it is the death of the somewhat mean and disliked Dieter that takes the win for the most terrifying death in the franchise. Dieter's death comes as something very much deserved, after watching him shock a single compy earlier in the film in a demonstration of why they should fear humans.
There haven't been any visitors to this island. There's no reason for it to fear man.
Now it does.
Dieter then makes the mistake of getting lost in the woods away from the group. It doesn't take long for the compies to return, only this time there's a lot more of them. They follow and attack Dieter constantly, driving him further and further away from anyone who could aid him until he eventually ends up at a river. Their attacks intensify in a frenzy of bites as Dieter struggles, running low on strength. He attempts to drive them away with thrown stones, but the compies are very much no longer afraid of him. He leaps over a log only for the compies to follow, and we hear his final screams. For me, this death is the most terrifying because of the prolonged nature of the assault from the animals. There is no way to get away from them, no way to save oneself from them. They will continue to pursue until you run out of strength. And what's more terrifying is the probable fact that those creatures are more than likely eating Dieter alive. I doubt he died fast. Jurassic Park 3 features the best raptors in the entire franchise, so it makes sense that they win the award here for the most brutal death. Here, we see the death of one of the few likeable mercenaries, Udesky. After being caught by the raptor pack, the alpha male deliberately plunges its sickle-shaped claw down through his back. It seems just enough to create pain and enough damage to prevent Udesky from escaping, but keeping him alive. It's all part of an intricate trap which Amanda Kirby almost falls for, ending up hanging above two hungry raptors as she gets dragged back up the tree. Having failed to catch any of the humans with their trap, the alpha male goes back to the probably still alive but injured Udesky and swiftly breaks his neck in a single precise strike. It is a brutal demonstration of the intelligence of the raptors in Jurassic Park 3 and how deadly they can be. Jurassic World, like most of the sequel trilogy films, contained fewer deaths than previous entries, at least of key characters. Zara's death is of course rather infamous amongst those of us who are Jurassic fans, and so it slots in here as the winner of the most excessive and unwarranted death. Zara is a very rarely seen character in the film, tasked with looking after the two kids. All we see of her is a decent woman trying to do her job while handling two very tricky children. When the pterosaurs attack Main Street like they are suddenly the Luftwaffe during World War II, Zara is treated to one of the most undeserved attacks of the film. First, she's grabbed by pterosaurs and plucked into the air. Then she's dropped into the Mosasaur lagoon and assaulted further by pterosaurs trying to grab her. And then in a final indignity, her and a pteranodon are grabbed by the Mosasaur before being killed. We even know that Zara is still alive right up to the Mosasaur snapping its jaws shut as we see her arms move. It's possible that she might even still be alive after the Mosasaur shuts its jaws. Zara could have been swallowed alive. It's a totally undeserved, awful death for a character that really didn't deserve it. Fallen Kingdom contains numerous deaths, although I'd argue most feel rather unsatisfying. The most satisfying and winning the award for the most deserved is the death of the Tooth Collector to the hands of the Indoraptor. It's also one of the more brutal deaths. The Tooth Collector is generally an evil person, pulling the teeth of animals out in some sick collector's fantasy.
Beautiful. You're gonna feel that when you wake up.
Watching him brutally pull out the tooth of a Stegosaurus made me want to kill this guy myself. I personally despise people who are deliberately cruel to animals, so in this case I was rooting for the Indoraptor to kill him. The Indoraptor plays with this guy in its cage. While I personally don't like the anthropomorphizing of animals in the sequel trilogy, the playfulness of the Indoraptor to tease the Tooth Collector does make for a more satisfying kill. The hybrid strikes, grabbing the arm of the witless human in its jaws, tearing his arm free in a swift attack before the camera pulls away and we hear him scream his last. A deserved ending to a bastard. So the death of Dodgson in Dominion is one of the few meaningful character deaths we get in the film, and here it wins the award for the most poetic death, but also the funniest. This might take some explaining. Dodgson finds himself stuck underground in the powerless Hyperloop tunnels, trying to escape his own facility when he finds himself face to face with a number of Dilophosaurus. It is clear that these guys are going to kill him, hence the poetic death award. He will die to the same animals that killed his buddy Nedry. Where it gets the funny award, however, is Dodgson's response. He actually asks one of the Dilophosaurus,
What's your story?
When this happened in the cinema, I actually burst out laughing. Not because the film was trying to be funny, but because the film ended up being funny at how stupid this moment was. Dominion really didn't kill off enough characters for me, and Dodgson's death just ended up as something to laugh at. So that was me giving some deserved rewards to some of the deaths in the Jurassic films. Let me know which deaths you think are the most memorable or deserving of an award in the comments. Next time, I'm going to be going over what I think are the worst scenes in all the films, because while I've been critical of the Jurassic World films, I think, to be fair, it's about time I looked at the Jurassic Park films with a bit of a critical eye myself. Consider subscribing to be notified of that video when it comes out, and until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.